What is differentiation of people in love relationship? And why is it important to understand exactly what it means? Because many of you were in relationship or still are where you could hear from your partner, or you actually were the one who said that, I need more space, leave me alone, just give me some time, slow down. You could hear a lot about differentiation from the business point of view. But actually the word comes from biology because it refers the way how cells develop. All cells in your body start from essentially the same material, but as they begin to differentiate, they take on unique properties and perform separate yet related functions. The greater the differentiation, the more sophisticated and adaptive the life form. More highly evolved forms of life display greater versatility in response. Your fingerprints, voice print, handwriting are examples of highly evolved uniqueness. Biologically and socially, human represent the most sophisticated differentiation in the world. Differentiation allows each person to function more independently and interdependently. Differentiation is more than what sets us apart from others. It determines how far apart we sit. Highly differentiated people have strong emotional bonds. They don't require physical distance, infrequent contact, or totally consuming careers to maintain their separate identities or moderate their reactivity to others. They are not indifferent to others, just the opposite. They can choose contact with others out of deep liking without being compulsively driven towards them or away. We confuse love with emotional fusion. We can understand differentiation and fusion from yet another perspective. Jealousy is a form of emotional fusion. At its most severe, jealousy illustrates our intolerance for boundaries and separations from those who we love. Our desire to possess our partner is inherently frustrated by the immutable fact that we are two fundamentally separate, though interrelated people. Fusion is when a wife cuts testicles of her hubby yelling, "It belongs to me," or making 27 cuts on the body being angry out of jealousy. Fusion is giving up your friend's hobbies or for the sake of your partner. Just think of this way. If you give up most of what makes you happy, what brings you joy, as a compromise for each other, better calling it sacrifice, what are you left with? You are left with dependence on each other. And moreover, whatever made you, shaped you, molded you as a person, now, because you gave away those parts, you are less interesting for your partner as well, because you don't have those parts anymore in your life. When a mother of three loses her identity because she is no longer has her life is the life of her kids. She blended in, she melted down, she merged, dissolved in needs and desires of her breed. She disappears as a person and as self. She doesn't even know who she is anymore. And the hardest breakdown might be waiting by the corner once kids are gone for college. Don't believe for a moment that these are examples of loving too much. Instead, they illustrate how emotional fusion increases breakdowns, depression, domestic violence. Divorces create legal separation, and restraining orders attempt to ensure physical distance. Yet many couples fight out their emotional fusion forever by proxy in court. The chilling movie Fatal Attraction portrays the tenacity of emotional fusion in an affair. Sometimes one partner feels, "You are not going to get away from me. You are not allowed to be happy without me. You are not allowed to go to have fun with your friends. How about me?" You know what other example of differentiation in latest movies? They show The Last of Us, where Frank is a very sick man and he decides not to suffer with his disease and to end his life. And his love partner Bill isn't being selfish out of love. He doesn't try to convince his beloved to stay alive. He accepts the decision because that's a wish of Frank. The concept is what you wish for yourself is the best for me. I respect your decision and I accept it. putting my ego aside. And when Billy announces he made the decision also to end his life, Frank takes it gracefully as well. Your pseudo self can be pumped up through emotional fusion, which makes poorly differentiated people doggedly hand on each other. I recall one couple who came to have a session with me. Before they came to see me, a husband claimed that there was nothing wrong with him as long as he had his wife support and controlled how intimate they were. He functioned well on a superficial level. His wife, however, went through difficult self-doubt and depression, and when she was in her deepest depths, her husband was kinder, more considerate, and empathetic. Somehow, her husband seemed the more stable of the two. But things changed when the wife emerged from her unhappiness. As she began to function more autonomously, husband functioning seemingly diminished. As she developed more self-respect, he became more insecure. As she needed his validation less, he feared losing her more. The couple clearly had patterns of borrowed functioning. It looks like there wasn't room in their relationship for both of them to be strong and independent and highly differentiate. When we need to be needed and can't settle for being wanted, we perpetuate poor functioning in our partner to maintain borrowed functioning, but the truth is we suppress it on a daily basis. And I know what you might be thinking. Does it mean you have to be selfish in relationship or to show less love? No, absolutely not. The self-determination of differentiation doesn't imply selfishness. Differentiation is not about always putting yourself ahead of everyone else. You can choose to be guided by your partner's best interest. Differentiation is not about always putting yourself ahead of everyone else. You can choose to be guided by your partner's best interest, even at the price of your personal agenda. But it doesn't have the feeling like you're being ruled by other needs. As you become more differentiated, you recognize those you love and separate people just like you. What they want for themselves becomes as important to you as what you want for yourself. You value their interest, but you can also see merits, and their position can be different than yours, and you still accept it. What I'm describing is called mutuality. Differentiation is the key to mutuality. As a perspective, a mindset, it offers a solution to the central struggle of any long-term relationship going forward with your own self-development while being concerned with your partner's happiness and well-being. When you reached a high level of differentiation, your view of conflict in relationship shifts dramatically. What I want for myself versus what you want for you shifts to what I want for myself versus my wanting for you, what you want for yourself. If you talk your partner out of what he or she wants so you can have your way, you lose. To wrap it all up, it's really important to develop high level of differentiation in order to build healthy relationship. You have to stay true to yourself and not to give up what really makes you happy, what shaped you and molded you before you met that partner. And again, I already said it in my previous videos, you don't have to do everything together. If you like fishing, going bowling, doing any other activities and your partner doesn't, it doesn't mean that you have to do everything together, sacrificing your joy of happiness for your partner. Or likewise, there is no exchange. It's not business when you say, okay, you go with me doing this and I'll go doing something else with you just because we sacrifice for each other. There is no need for that. You are two different people with two different interests, and it's exactly why you liked each other to begin with, because of those differences. Whatever shaped you, whatever brings you happiness should stay in your life. It's just about the spectrum of spending time apart and enjoying life without each other. You should determine it what exactly that spectrum is for you, which is okay for both. For example, if one plays poker and he goes to play 5 times a week, perhaps it's not a good idea to build great, strong relationship, because obviously the priority is poker, not the relationship. But giving it up completely is not the best solution as well. So here is the main point. Stay true for yourself and stay different, because staying different exactly makes you who you are.